So I didn't check this in the last part of the video we did, but just because it seems like the most obvious. This always seems like what I would think it would be, tire size, and it's usually never tire size. They have to be way off to make that big of a difference. So looking at like 41.7 on that right rear. Let's see. And 41, maybe 0.3. So that's 0.4 of a millimeter in diameter. That's only going to make a 0.2 of a millimeter difference in ride height, because the tires, you know, you're losing 0.2 on the top and 0.2 on the bottom. So that's, if we get within 0.2, we know that it's all tire size then. But I think we're way farther off than 0.2. Let me get this other ride height gauge. On this side, we're at 3.4, 3.3, and over here, 2.5. So what is that? 5 and 4. It's like almost a full millimeter, 0.9. That means we're really 0.7 off somewhere other than the tires. One of the things I noticed is it looks to me like these are not adjusted the same, and that is not a 1.5. It's probably going to be an 0.50. Where you get a video of me digging through my tools. Hopefully I can find it quickly. 16th inch? No. It really is an 0.50. Alright, here we go. That tells you how often I have to use this thing.
That's associated for you.
Well, I don't think that's the associated part. And I'm noticing here that as I turn this, the purpose of this screw, it should be like Loctited or stuck to that. This is like a Speed Merchant or a CRC from like 2000 or something, but the screw turns without even adjusting anything, so it's not doing any good. But the point is, the holder is all the way up against the carbon fiber. That's all we want, really. And we're just going to make sure the same on this side. After the video, Steve will probably take those out, Loctite them together, and super glue them or something, so that should be, as you turn this, it actually adjusts the height of that spring. But they're both now up against the carbon fiber. We'll see if that made any difference, and it sure doesn't look like it did. Yeah, still 2.4, 2.5 there, and 3.4. So at the moment, I'm out of ideas. Sometimes a change in front ride height, we're at like 3.2 there. And I think we're coming up on the problem. As funny as it sounds, a lot of times front end problems transfer back to the pod here. So I suspect we're going to find that the droop up here, just kind of eyeballing it here, you got a 2 or 3 tenths of droop there. And on this side, there's no droop. It's all tension. I don't know if that picks up on the video, but there's play here in this one before we even touch the spring. Can you see all that movement right there? And that's easily close to a millimeter. That 0.7 could be right there. So we'll see if we can't shim that out, and I'll do it on video. We'll see if we can. Oh, please be a 5.5, 3/16. Take the wheel off, and all I'm going to do is just shim that spring. I'll probably put a 0.5 millimeter in there and see if we can get it to go away.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, these are the actual associated kingpin shims, and they're usually like, let's see, I think 0.42 millimeters. Let's see if I'm right. 0.41.
Figured it out.
Oh, pretty close. 0.36. So we'll put a couple of these on there. And I bet that ride height on the rear goes back up where we would like it. This, you may be thinking, well, why do you have to put different numbers of shims on one side or the other? For one, I haven't looked at the car. There may be different numbers of shims and we're just evening it out. Or it could be that the correct number of shims are in there, but what happens are these springs, they collapse. They just shorten, you get in a big hit. Who knows? But they just get shorter. And it's not the best, it's not the perfect fix to just shim it out, but for the sake of the video and understanding what's wrong, it'll help us. It'll be an indicator. The better solution is to replace the spring. Go check both of them and make sure they're the same length. Glad I caught that. Shim there. Oh, buddy.